Hello?
Oh,
Chris,
sorry,
you there?
Rob. Rob, I'm here. I hadn't taken you off loudspeaker.
How are you?
I'm really, really good. I'm clearly unprofessional. I didn't know what happened. How do we turn?
A turn?
Check out a turn. An episode. A moment.
Turn. Oh, you did? Oh, yes.
Well, I think I maybe did. I'm trying to...
Did you take the blue pill or the red pill?
Rob, do you know what? At this point in time, I'd fucking take all the fucking pills. All the pills. Blue, red,
I guess I'm
green.
not editing out any curse words today.
No, today, listen, this is going to be the fuckiest of fucky weeks for me. And if YouTube don't like it, they can kiss my hairy hole. How's that?
All right. I got 2 stories this week.
Rob, you're down to 2 every week.
Yeah, well, I'm really whittling it down. There's not a lot of important, photography news.
You can't whittle.
Sony has leaked that there's a new body coming out in the first quarter of 2021. It's
the A9S.
Or whatever they're going to call it. Canon just came out with their C70, their cinema camera, their low-end cinema camera that's, I don't know, I thought it would be around 3,500 pounds. It's going to be 5,000.
Shut up.
It's still not full frame. It's just Super 35.
Who?
So there's
Canon?
There's these the Canon one, yeah.
Jeez.
It'll do 4K 120. Won't do any internal RAW. Blah 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 blah. Anyways, so all that stuff isn't news. That's not the interesting news. The interesting news is what you and I dissect down from the week.
Rob,
and this is the best of the news here.
You know what? I'm going to take my hat off to you. That's a beautiful way of looking at it. It is indeed the way we milk and then refine.
Yeah, I mean, gear is gear. What is changing the way photography is actually practiced, though? That's what I'm interested in. The legal end, the business end, all that kind of stuff.
Rob, that's the very end that I'm my weakest at. What part of a cow would that be, Rob? Would that be the udders? Or would that be...
The weakest part? The tail.
Ooh. See what I'm saying? We're all back to the hairy bits.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, you've cheered me up already. I was in very bad form, as you know, and you've already enlightened how I feel. What do you think of that?
How many stories do you have, Chris?
Oh, I have a couple. I have actually, I've got 4, but one of them is just a, how's your auntie? It's not there's not much there's no length to it. Isn't it great that we're getting seasons of the soul into these podcasts, Rob, that people are saying are genuinely happy and low selves? Isn't it interesting? Isn't it, though?
It is.
Do you know what I'm trying to do now, Rob?
And we should be happy. We should be happy for what we have.
Fuck. I don't mean that. I'm not saying that for you. Because what?
Well, because there's so many other people in the world who have far, far, far less.
Oh, Rob, you know what? You're right. And
we're blessed.
We're blessed. You know what? You're right.
You get a hiccup. You get a hiccup during the day,
yeah.
Or you get a bad day, or you get a bad week, or you get a bad year. Some people are just born into it, man.
Some people a bad life
will never get a break. Yeah, they'll never get a break.
Rob, you're making me want to cry. I'm just leaning forward here, Rob, because there's something that's really annoying me, and if I don't.
Is it your wooden chair?
No, there's a candle holder under the bed, and it's kind of looking at me and chastising me. For some reason, it's really catching my eye. I don't want to look at it. I've been looking at it the whole time. Rob, I was cross there.
Oops.
But Rob, less to do about us and more to do with the world of photography.
What's your first story, Chris?
Rob, Pari Photo announces postponement of its 2020 edition. It ain't happening. So there you go.
Of course not. No.
For anybody who thought it was happening, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror and wonder what mask you're going to wear all that time.
And yet they'll still run Sturgis.
Right, yeah.
You know, in the United
Yeah, I
States, the
know.
big Harley
No,
Davidson
listen,
festival.
they're
250,000 people, and now there's like 250,000 people infected.
But listen to this. There is other stuff happening. Okay, this is my first story. That wasn't my first story. That's just a kind of an aside. But here we have Japan's leading photography festival comes to Kyoto this weekend, and it's Kyotographie. Not wonderful. It's not wonderful. Kyotographie. That's clever, isn't it?
Mm.
It wouldn't work for. It might work for Bangergraphy. It wouldn't work for a Hullgraphy or Ballymena-graphy. Although I'm sure that Ian would fight his hardest to get that. So yeah, what we have is the 10th edition, the 8th edition, which includes exhibitions, venues, ranging from traditional wooden houses, townhouses to shopping arcades. So they have one ahead, but I don't know where Japan is with this whole thing. I imagine they've probably been.
I think they're pretty good.
I imagine they've been sensational, the whole thing. Boris.
I mean, they wear masks all the time, anyway.
But right? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I have friends over there, and I know how it's going. And I have to say, it's probably as good as it gets. To be fair with you, if you were going to be anywhere to try and organise yourself through life, that would be it. Although they are hoping that Boris flies over and takes over, because we know there's an opportunity there at the minute. That's an awful. You know what? That's not even funny in any level. That's just me being a smarty ass. But what do you think of that? So, but listen to this. What you get is this is from the art newspaper again. You know what the crack. I'm not going to talk about Tom anymore. Every week, Tom this, Tom that. But you know what? If you're not following Tom, go on to Instagram. He's got very handsome of late. He's let himself go quite hairy. I can tell you. Do you know what? I'm going to be speaking to Tom later in the week.
We'll put a link in the description.
I will. I have a funny story to tell you about Tom, but I don't want to tell it without Tom's permission. A funny story. Next week, if he doesn't mind. But then I need his help. He might rule it out. But what you have is I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It's an exhibition of Japanese photography. You can imagine. Right. Yeah, geez, Rob. I'm not even joking. Like anybody that knows me knows.
That'd be awesome.
You know where? Yeah, my
assistant's over there. I should tell him to go see it.
Take some photos. Well, it was on from it was
one of my old assistants.
Oh. It could be over because it was 18th September and it says comes to Kyoto. I don't know. You know what? I don't know how long it's on for. I'd be surprised if it wasn't on for a while. To be honest with you, I'd think at this juncture you'd like to think it was on for 2 years. But you've loads of retrospectives, loads of stuff going on. And there's a few things I'm going to do, and one of them is whenever I get the time machine is go back. I'm going to go back and see it. What do you think of that?
Cool.
Yeah.
Got to get that time machine.
Well, Trump's got it. I was reading that the other day. Trump has a time machine. You've heard this story?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it. Very, very interesting.
Okay.
And it almost makes sense. Think of that.
Cool.
Unlike the bushy-haired fuck. Right, go ahead, Rob.
Well, my first story, I sort of mentioned it to you earlier.
Yes.
And I think it's a prime thing for any visual artist. Mm-hmm. They need to do this. If they're on Facebook, Facebook now has a rights manager department.
Yeah.
So they will look after the rights of any of your images that might be infringed upon within the Facebook territory.
Okay.
It only works for images once you're signed up. It won't work on any old images that you already have on Facebook.
But how's that going?
It'll only work.
How's that going to work with the amount of photographs going up on Facebook?
Well, it's obviously not everyone is going to sign up. It's only going to be
pros,
visual arts professionals.
Okay.
Yeah,
but there's
people who make money from
their stuff. But there's a price.
No, it's free.
What?
It's free, and you need to be a visual artist in obviously any of the stills visual, whether it's illustration, photography, but you can also be doing video as well. So what happens is they will find your images, and you'll have three options. The first option is you can monitor that image
Yeah.
on that account
Yeah.
that's using it.
Yeah.
You can block that account from using it,
Lovely.
and you can do a takedown notice.
And is this going to filter through to, excuse the pun, to Instagram?
I'm not sure. Don't know about that yet.
Instagram for me would be more interesting than Facebook, to be honest with you. You've
Yeah,
left
it's
you've
gonna
left
be,
Facebook,
I mean,
Rob.
that'll be pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, well, me too.
But that'll be a whole new kettle of fish because obviously it's like a fully different platform.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But there'll be a link in the description for the Facebook Rights Manager. You can click on that link and it'll go right there. If you sign up, register with them. I signed up earlier today, so I've got an email that says that they've got my application and it's being processed.
So here's a question for you, Rob. If you post something that you've already posted, so let's say I was canny and went in and posted my stuff that I'd already posted, is it covered because of the is there a caveat saying that if you've posted something before it won't be covered, or it's a good question.
No, I imagine it would be it would be covered. It would be covered, but I mean, they would know how that person is using that image, like from which image they took it from. So if it was,
you're smarter than me.
Shared, if it was shared, or if it was, I mean, obviously, if it was screen captured, that you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they would know if it was, right click saved. They would be able to tell.
Have you ever saved it from Facebook of other people's stuff?
Have I ever what? Sorry?
Saved anything?
From other people?
Yeah.
I've taken stuff and used it for reference.
Yeah, listen, I do.
I have a reference. I have a reference folder in my computer, and I will,
like inspiration.
But I do that with people's websites too.
Yeah, me too.
Just for reference. It's just for myself.
I think it's good practice, but of course you would never use it. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, and me, that's exactly.
I'd have no reason to use it.
No, but sometimes you look at stuff and but here's something, Rob. Here's something. I'm doing a piece on Irish travellers, okay, called "No Travellers Are Hurting the Making of This Work," and it's work that they have put up, okay, from buy and sell sites, where they have obliterated their faces. Now, they have to complain about me using it to get it taken down. Is that right? They have to make Facebook
Say
aware.
that again?
So.
If they're a subject, they're a subject?
No, they're not a subject. Well, they're a subject. They are a subject, but I'm taking it from a site on Facebook, and I'm appropriating it and reusing it for another purpose.
Well, are you modifying the image?
Yeah. Well, I am. Define modifying.
Well, if you're altering the image, if you're changing the colors, if you're putting layers, if you're making a collage.
Yeah, it's not mad. It's not mad. It's not mad, but it is. I suppose we could argue. Not that I think they will. Well, no, they won't because we've agreed this. But that's an interesting area for me. God, Rob,
but they would have to register. They would have to register.
Yeah.
And what are the chances of them registering? And they have to be approved too.
Okay.
That's the thing. So when you do the registering, Facebook is going to ask you for your Facebook account, your YouTube account, your Instagram account, your website. So it asks all these different things. Well, and obviously they're going to gauge, if you don't have any of those things except for a Facebook account, are you a professional visual artist? Do you deserve to be signed up to Rights Manager?
Yeah, but of course my stuff's promoting human rights. It's not but it's just something going through my head.
Kind of money making thing.
You're making me sniff, Rob. Do you know what it is? I sit here and I sniff. There's something in this corner sniffing me. Don't know what. Do you hear me sniffing? Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had an ex-friend who when she was interviewing people, I won't mention her name because it's probably highly illegal. If somebody sniffed an interview, they wouldn't get the job. What do you think of that? Just wouldn't give it to them. Just despise sniffers. We used to joke about it around the table. She despise, and now in an extraordinarily high position. And I say,
well, she wouldn't have hired Trump, huh?
Is he a sniffer?
Well, don't you remember that speech? He was sniffing it through his entire speech.
Oh,
like
that's
one
right.
of his early on speech.
They thought it was
speeches.
Coke. They thought it was Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably was fucking Coke. Let's not mince about it. You can send people for me if you want. He'll come back and get me in that time machine. He'd go back whenever I'm 3 and give me a lacing. God,
I know it.
I know, but you have to be careful, don't you, in case he has got one. Rob, will I go to my next story? You there?
Was a perfect pause. Yes, I'm listening.
It was dramatic, Rob. That's what it was. Okay.
Dramatic.
I'm going to have to stop sniffing. I'm going to sniff in the hope that she's watching. Sorry. It is just a sniff.
I heard that one. Thanks.
It's hay fever. Okay. Photoworks. I'm a fan. I won't say I'm not. I am a fan. Okay. But what they have is this. Okay. And it is just awesome. Photoworks friend, okay, if you're a Photoworks friend, you get a special anniversary offer, which is a festival in a box. Whoever thought of this up, honest to God, I want to be their pal. It's absolutely genius. So Photoworks Festival 2020, propositions for alternative narratives can be experienced as a photographic festival in a box. It's a unique limited edition object, a portable festival where you become the creator and decide how and where to install it. What do you think of that as a premise for genius?
Cool.
It's 35 quid, okay, for the year to sign up. And you get this. The box includes artworks by, and it's just a list: Lottie Anderson, Roger Abraham. Wow. It's good stuff, okay. And then you go through, and it, this is interesting. Text by Simon Baker, Julia Bunnerman, and others. Okay, so what you get is beautiful work, beautiful writing, and the opportunity to put it up in your house, on your street, in your work. On an alleyway, in your car. How brilliant is that?
That's cool.
Now you take that idea and then steal it, okay? Steal it and make your own work.
Share it, yes.
But do you know what I mean? How incredible! If 5 boxes around 5 friends or 5 random strangers leading up people's doorsteps, telling them what you want.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
Cool.
In COVID
cool.
2020, somebody's hit this right on the money for me. I think this is absolute genius. Absolute genius. Mm-hmm. I read it earlier in the week and I was just like, that is unbelievable. And hang it for now, the Photoworks Festival, 24th September to the 25th of August, and hang it again somewhere else in the future, or keep it folded as a special object on your bookcase or in your studio. I'm getting it, Rob. I'm getting it. I think it's just the best thing this year. And if I can add on to that, here we are. I'm actually, I'm sad at the minute, but, here we are now in the latter end of September being told there's going to be further lockdowns and further. Which, you know what, I was reading a thing a friend of mine put up, a friend from the films I really admire. Maria, and she, she shared a link, and it was literally just saying that kind of the arts worldwide are fucked. So many places, Cirque du Soleil is filing for bankruptcy. They employ 3,000.
Are they really?
Yeah, 3,500 people. We have all of these institutions that are going, and I read it, and it was all in whiskey, go, things, stuff. Big names,
whiskey a go-go.
Yeah, so it's things that are happening, and you're just like, okay. But then it hit me for myself and for you and for other friends that I know that are screwed. That if these big things are happening to big people, then the small man's kind of in a really dangerous predicament. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's kind of where I've been at the last couple of days, just thinking, where do we go with that? You know what I mean? career-wise and everything else. Now, you know, and I know that if we don't make our money in the summer, it's a lean enough winter. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this is going to be a lean winter, which I think, on a positive note, there'll be good work made from it. But good work being made from it by me doesn't feed my family now. You know what I mean? Doesn't keep us in the right.
No, I know what you mean.
In the right headspace. So I think that it's really devastating that, you know, the government isn't. I don't know what the Irish government are doing. I know Germany and France have been a wee bit kinder to the artists, but I don't know what's happening here. And I think actually the self-employed thing's now down to 20%. You know what I mean? 20%.
Yeah.
Sure, I wouldn't buy you a bun.
Chris.
Yeah.
You want to hear my next story?
Yes, Rob. I was getting a wee bit lonesome there.
Bring you up a bit. Bring you up a bit.
I am up, but I'm up, but I'm also just like contemplative. But tell me your next story, Rob.
Well, you remember a couple months ago I showed you that software that I purchased?
Yes.
That replaced skies?
Mm-hmm.
Called Luminar?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool. Worked pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what?
You've been rewriting it.
Yeah, I rewrote the code.
You're making
I
a fortune.
sold it to Adobe. No. I sold it to Adobe, and it's going to be in the new Photoshop.
Rob, can I be your closer friend?
So Photoshop is now going to have a sky replacement tab.
Actually,
underneath the edit tab.
No, they're not.
Yeah. And they'll supply a limited amount of, you know, stock skies.
Yeah.
But you can drop your own skies in as well.
No.
Now it differs from the Luminar stuff, whereas you can reposition the sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Luminar,
yeah.
you could only make the sky bigger or smaller, but with the Adobe stuff, you can actually move it around as well as make it larger or smaller. But the freaking great thing, Chris, is it does it as a layer and a layer mask.
No. So we can go in and...
So it's you can totally edit it. Now, you think about that, okay? Now, hear me out here.
Yeah.
Think about that. Remember, Photoshop has video capabilities.
Of course.
So
we're moving into a dangerous realm.
You can drop it. Yeah, as long as the camera's locked off on the tripod, you could drop a sky into your video practically seamlessly.
No.
And of course, Adobe's working on that for Premiere. You know they're working
on
100%. For Premiere. They'll turn around and they'll do that for Premiere for moving images. But for the time being right now, you should be able to finesse it so that Photoshop, when this release comes out, Photoshop should be able to release. Don't know. They just announced it, I think, today or yesterday.
Well, Rob, you know
I watched a video on it. It looks great. Looks absolutely great.
You know I'm a fan of Canva. It always comes to this shop.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. The other thing is I mean, I purchased that software for specific clients.
Yeah.
Because you know and I know Northern Irish weather is unforgiving, as well as the clients.
Yes.
So when the client wants something shot on a specific day, you have to go out and you have to shoot it regardless of what the weather's like. Yeah. And more often than not, 70% of the time, it's going to be an overcast day.
Beautifully grey.
Cloudy day. Types of clouds you don't want. No. So to have that ability to drop in a fresh sky the way you'd like it is
a game changer.
Virtually priceless. It's great. It's great.
Well, I was going to say very boringly that Canva now have a background eraser. So there you go. If Canva there must be some sort of magic happening in the land of...
Oh, come on.
You fool. I've never noticed Rob's walk before. It's very lurchery. Like and subscribe to videos. The reason why I've been dragged into Belfast during lockdown is to say this, okay? You have to like and subscribe. It's just good manners. If you don't do it, Rob makes me come in here all the way into Belfast. So please, and poor Lucky is also in the same boat, Lucky and I are in the same boat. Like and subscribe, okay? And share if you want to share. If you know somebody famous that you want to share it to, like, I don't know, somebody famous, just share. Not Boris. Please. He doesn't deserve the fun. Thank you. You should have been in the Navy SEALs, Rob. That sort of attitude. Or the mounted police. The Mounties, I can see you as a hairy Mountie.
So we're back, everyone.
Oh, you're on loudspeaker.
Thanks for watching.
Do you want me to stop your loudspeaker in?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, fuck. Let's get that. Put your loudspeaker on.
Loudspeaker's on.
3, 2, 1. Okay, loudspeaker's off.
Hi
everyone. We're back.
Hi, everyone.
We're back. A little technical glitch there.
On Rob's side. Just want people to know.
On my side.
Not mine. I'm fucking brilliant.
These things chew through batteries. Chew through batteries.
Chew through batteries.
Okay, so where we left off, we were talking about luminar and sky replacements, and
will you keep some of your cursing in? Because it was excellent cursing, Rob. Excellent cursing. It was excellent.
I think I should beep those. Because it'll just be one long beep.
Rob, don't play into the hands.
You'll just see my mouth moving back and forth.
Listen, if Christians are watching this and are offended, go and watch a Christian program in the name of Jesus. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Rob, can I say something that I have been on? You know what the crack is. We present. You know the stuff I'm into. You know what I mean? I do venture. I do look at other stuff, but for this, I like to keep it. Right, listen. This is great. What makes a man? This is dangerous territory, isn't it, Rob? 2020. What makes a man? Is
this your photography story?
No, yeah. This is nice. I'll be really quick. What makes a man? Through these photographers' lenses, masculinity is mere performance. Okay, now let me read this to you because this is good. The definition of masculinity now may now be in a state of flux, but throughout history, manhood in art and photography has taken on many forms, from the fluid to the vulnerable to the stereotypical. Okay, all of which have contributed in some way to how men are viewed in society. Oh, men in society, 2020? Surely not. Okay.
It's deep.
A dangerous category. But what we have is, Rob, the link will be there. You have to go and look. Read and look. If you can't read, just look. Okay? It is just absolutely brilliant. And I mean, photographs I've never seen before. Adines, Adines, untitled, from the series Soldiers, 1999. And it's 4 soldiers sleeping, and their left-hand side is the butt of a gun. It looks for all the world Vietnamese. It's maybe somewhere not Vietnamese. I don't know. It's not. It looks so it's Middle East. But what you get is men have toyed with the boundaries of gender for centuries through art. These are the big headlines. Okay, Masculinity is far healthier and more visually intriguing when approached fluidly. Now, Rob, you could learn from that. Okay, and the reason why I brought this up is because whenever I watch you back every single week, okay, you're the essence of man. I can almost smell masculinity when I watch. I'm serious.
I only shower once a week with this COVID thing. That's what you smell.
I can definitely smell masculinity. But what I'm saying is that you have this, but then whenever we meet, you have a slightly more feminine side.
No, when you meet, you can smell me from Bangor during the week, but then when we actually meet for coffee, you smell the dogs. That's dogs.
No, I just mean, but what I mean is, I mean metaphorically. You have this. Listen, people don't know what you do. Google Lucy's Trust and see what Rob does. But you have this much softer, kinder, generous side that maybe doesn't come across with the check shirts and the cowboy hat. But whenever I read this article, whenever I looked through the photographs, who was I instantly attracted to? The D-man. That's who I was attracted to, the D-man. I just thought to myself, I would love to take Rob's clothes off. I'd love to put him in the corner of the studio, black and white. I'm serious. I'm not even bloody joking. It actually cheered.
I don't pose nude anymore, Chris. Doesn't happen anymore.
Rob,
only in my 20s.
Never say never. Is all I can say. Never say never. I would guarantee that you would pose naked.
We'll get all the participants on our Sunday workshop this week to shoot me naked. How's that?
Rob, I'm not even joking. I would actually pay money. I'm going to pay them all to do that. I've made you smile, haven't I? But there it is.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. It's it's brilliant. What makes a man through this photographer's lenses? Masculinity is mere performance. Because it is a performance.
Cool.
Listen, we won't let the women in too many secrets because there's something will get me into awful trouble at home and abroad. So I'm not going to say it.
Yes.
But what I'm going to say is, it is a performance. Okay. That's me, Rob. What great stories this week.
Great stories this week, Chris.
Your sound's going to be
Thank you so much.
Your sound's going to be shite, but apart from that, people want to... Don't ignore the sound. Who cares about the sound?
I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
If anybody can.
I'll work well on it.
You can.
Well, thanks, Chris. We'll see you in a couple of days at the workshop.
Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow?
It's Sunday.
What day is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday.
2 days.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait, Rob. I love you. You know that. Facto.
Thanks, Chris.
Right, well,
I like you too.
Like, Rob, say love. Don't be so Canadian.
See you next week, Chris.
I love you, Rob.
Bye.
Bye. You should have more ability to say love, Rob. You should say back, I love you. I love you too, Chris. Well, maybe actually by not saying it, what you're doing is leaving a bit of a cliffhanger. You know, whenever you used to watch Flash Gordon, and Ming the Merciless would be like sent over the edge of a cliff with Flash Gordon, and next week you were like, it was like you couldn't wait to see what happened. Maybe the viewers will kind of be that Flash Gordon thing where they're wanting to see if you actually do say stuff, where you open up. You know what I'm saying? Where you... Huh? What cereals?